I was recently asked why I walk to town instead of taking the bus. And the truth is, I like to walk. There's a river near me that I walk along to get into town with trees all along and all kinds of birds, and even a spot with a bunch of cats. Someone leaves food out for them, but they are definitely outdoor cats. It's a pretty long walk, about an hour and a half, and that trail along the river is my favorite part of my trek to and from town. There are mountains in the distance, and in the other direction, the buildings rise up out of the town center. Sometimes I do take the bus into town if it's raining, for instance, and that takes a different route, not along the river, but on a main road without a view of the river, and that road eventually goes across the river. But anyway, there's something so soothing to me about that walk along the river, and I've often wondered why that is. When you are out in nature, walking under the trees, enjoying the breeze, the fresh air, the sound of birds singing, or you encounter a cute animal, my weakness is for cats. For you, maybe it's a different kind of animal, a dog, a fish, or a butterfly. When you're looking out across a lake or looking into the distant mountains or out the horizon over the sea, you tend to relax, don't you? I know I do. And that walk into town, since it's a long walk, my pace automatically slows down and that relaxes me further. I've always been drawn to rivers. I don't think I'm unique in this, but I love the water. The river is often quiet, save for the occasional cyclist, jogger, or people walking their dog. It's away from the crowds of the city center for sure. Looking back, in every city that I've lived, I've always spent my free time visiting rivers and lakes near me, weekends or even lunch breaks. There's something about the appearance of water, large bodies of water, that is very soothing. The way it reflects light and the way you can see right down to the bottom of the riverbed, depending on the angle and how calm the water is. There's something about nature in general that gives you perspective too, isn't there? For one thing, out in nature, you feel your relative insignificance in the greater scheme of things, without being excluded, if you know what I mean. You become very aware of your existence as a part of a bigger whole. A whole that is inclusive of everything. You, me, everyone, everything. There's also the sense that while the sky, the mountains, and the sea, these things are all so much bigger than you are, you matter too, because your experience of all of these great, big, amazing things is only possible because you are alive to experience it. And it seems like that couldn't have been an accident. About the healing power of nature, I think part of it is that the bigness and the expanse of these things, like the sky and the trees and the mountains, rivers and lakes, they relax your eyes for one thing, because you're looking out further than you usually do, especially if you tend to spend your days looking at things up close, like a computer screen. When you're looking out into the distance at the beautiful scenery, you just feel it in your eyes, the relaxation. There's none of the tension that you feel when you're concentrating on reading the words on a page in a book, for instance, not to mention a computer or phone screen. Your breathing naturally slows down, gets deeper. When I'm in a wide open space, I often automatically do stretches too. It seems appropriate to do that somehow. And haven't you ever noticed that when you're relaxed, you get all sorts of ideas that feel really good to you? It's really easy for me to get into daydream mode when I'm out enjoying nature. There is a sense of this is peaceful, this is beautiful, this is amazing. Even if it's the same scenery I've seen so many times before, and even if not much is actually happening, it's the same ducks and egrets by the river, the same fish, the same woodpeckers and sparrows and birds whose names I don't even know. Also the occasional lizard and other creatures, snails if it's been raining a lot, especially in summer. That's actually part of the appeal, though. The same old, same old. Boring is the wrong word, but it's in the vicinity. Calm, peaceful, relaxed. I mean, it's not like I haven't walked up and down that river a lot of times already, but I still enjoy it. Not in an, oh my God, this is so exciting kind of way, but in a, this is nice, this is familiar, this is pleasant kind of way. It's in those moments where I feel like I'm glad I am here. I am happy to be here, if you know what I mean. And I feel renewed somehow. It's great. I become very aware of where I am, that I am part of a greater whole, that I fit in somehow, that there is a place for me, and that somehow I am meant to be here. Like existence, the universe, permitted the events of my life to occur, including my coming into being in the first place, all the way up to the events that brought me right up into this moment. And so it must have been intended. It must intend for me to be here, if that makes sense. It's a good feeling. It feels like a renewed promise somehow. I feel like there's a presence with me. Maybe it's God. I know a lot of people have issues with that word, including myself in the past. But to me, God is not necessarily the Christian God or any particular God. To me, God is an idea. It's just anything that feels good to me in a wholesome way. It's a feeling of well-being, of contentment, like I am well cared for. It's a sense of peace and love and belonging in this moment in time, regardless of what is going on in it in terms of my work or my health or my relationship with others, if that makes sense. What do you love about nature?